I had no idea how to like fully develop a brand outside of myself.
Consistency is always key in content marketing.
Yeah, you just need more output. So it's like, I'm posting every day. Well, maybe you need to post twice a day.
Little details so important in branding.
100%. I have so much pride in this, and the fact that I can create this as a reflection of that is super cool.
Yeah.
Hey friends, welcome to Above the Fold podcast. I'm your host, Jess Servion. We're going to be talking about everything in your customer's journey. You're going to learn things about customer experience, brand experience, and marketing secrets that help you drive your brand success. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's get into the episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Above the Fold podcast with me, Jess, your host. This episode, I'm super fucking stoked because I am with my literal brothers from another mother.
That's right, baby.
Yep.
Josh Leyva.
Right. What's up, girl?
And Mark Galvez.
What's up?
Both from Salud, but we're going to just get into it because it's not just about Salud. This episode is going to be so much about being brown and being an entrepreneur.
Come on, girl. This is my kind of stuff.
know.
Can we cuss? Is this a cussing podcast?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Because we cussing a lot today.
I know. Okay, before we get into it, Josh, tell the homies who you are.
Okay, so let's see. I am a entrepreneur, content creator, podcaster, host. I've been in like the social media space since like 2010. I'm kind of like an OG YouTuber, if you will. My first platform that I really like focused and I wanted to, take over, if you will, was YouTube. Started making content there. I'm first generation Mexican, so a lot of my content was like heavily inspired by my culture. I was making like sketch comedies, just kind of poking fun of, being Latino and what it is to like be brown, if you will. And from there, I built a pretty large audience. I was super fortunate to like people wanted to watch me, which was dope. And my YouTube channel got like 2 million subscribers. From there, I was able to kind of grow all my other social media platforms as well. And I've always been super passionate about like health and wellness. And I knew that I wanted to build my own business and brand one day. And I didn't know exactly what that looked like, but I knew I wanted to do something in the health and wellness space. And in 2020, I met my now business partner of Salud named Tyler McCann. Shout out to Tyler. And we basically realized that we have a lot of the same goals. And I started sharing with him some of my visions as far as like building a brand. And he basically shared his visions and everything. He's all his experiences in product development, because he actually has like supplement product development experience. And he had been with this company called Muscle Farm, which is like a huge supplement company at the time. And where I met him was actually at this like Muscle Farm gym. And I was like kind of freaking out because I was like a big fan of Muscle Farm. So I just told him that I have this idea that I want to create this product that really like, highlights these incredible flavors that Latinos have to offer that I felt like were completely missing in the market space. And he was my guy. Like he really like believed in the vision, and he was the guy that can help me make this happen. And I'm super grateful for him because I had experience in marketing and making fun content and knowing how to make things go viral on social media and stuff like that. I had no idea how to like fully develop like a brand outside of myself because I built my own brand, thus being me, right? But knowing how to like package a product and, even just like putting it on Shopify and understanding like the marketing behind that and ad spend and customer experience and building a team, like I didn't know how to do that. And so he really kind of helped me, and we built this incredible company that we've been running for like going on 4 years. It's going to be about 4 years in June. And it's been awesome. This is my brother, by the way. I don't know if you know, it's my brother, Mark.
Mark.
Absolutely.
And funny story, he's actually our first employee that we ever hired, which was super awesome. And he was working as a real estate agent at the time. And if you guys haven't listened to this guy talk, he's brilliant. He's just the most genuine, loving, kindest, well-spoken human in the world. I'm so lucky that he's like my younger brother. Sometimes he feels like he's my older brother. But I just knew that if there was anybody we were going to hire first, it had to be him, because I just know there wasn't going to be anybody else we were going to bring on super early who was going to be as passionate about the brand like myself besides him. You know?
My God.
And
Mark.
He's just been the best thing that's ever happened to Salud.
Yeah. Well,
don't tell any of the other employees I've said that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bessie, Andy, don't listen.
Right? I'm going to send this to them when it airs.
No, literally everybody. Okay, just to like back up, everybody has been an amazing asset to the growth of Salud, and we're so fortunate to have an incredible team. But Marky's definitely
making me tear up over here.
Wow. He was my guy from the jump, man. So he gets a little special love.
This is like the family episode, because like these are literally like my brothers.
Yeah.
Mark, just quickly just talk about like customer experience at Salud, because I think it's really important to highlight like you, as much as like Josh and Tyler created, you were the fucking backbone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since day one, you know, I think we all had a clear vision on how we wanted to run the customer experience. We used to, fun fact, I think you were going to mess up and say customer service, but you caught yourself and said customer experience.
Come on, man.
And this was the one, she was the one that came and said customer service. No, ill. Customer experience is
No,
what
I
you have
love
to
it.
say.
Customer experience is
Yeah,
where
nice.
it's at.
Yeah.
I don't say customer service at all to
Nope.
anything that I reference.
I've trained you guys well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I love
Check.
that.
And
Yeah.
as soon as you told us that night, we flipped it. We're like, customer experience.
Dead ass.
Yeah.
That night, I don't think I've ever
know.
went back to customer service.
I
Never.
know.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, I think since day one, we had a clear, you know, vision that we wanted to take care of our customers. We always wanted to do right by the customers. And Josh, you know, having so much experience and being in an industry where he has fans and supporters, he knows how important it is to, you know, show support back for those people that support him.
Yeah.
And, you know, these people are the ones that built up Salud. You know, without our customers, we are nothing. So, you know,
Correct.
we, you know, that was just our first thing, was always do right by the customer. And I think we've just highlighted that through these 3 years that I've been on board.
Yeah.
Coming up on 4, which is crazy.
Yeah, even having somebody like Marky, like, and thanks to you, like really being able to like teach him and put him at this level that he's at now.
Oh,
yeah,
he's
like,
like, here.
he's doing it.
Duh.
He's doing it.
I'm
Yeah.
so fucking proud of
Yeah,
Marky.
and he has
Like,
only legitimized our company even more, because you know, you can easily look at our brand and be like, oh, it's just another influencer brand. But once you, if you really like dive into the company, you see how we're operating, and if you have an experience that might not be the best, I promise you, is going to be dealt with as if we were dealing with like a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah,
Like it is
absolutely.
as legit as it comes.
Yeah, and like I want to like take a step back, but I want to make one more comment. Like, I do really appreciate, Mark, like how much you take when comments come in, like or like complaints come in, you take it so seriously.
He does,
like
yeah.
like
He
it's
does.
like, I mean, I think that's the thing about Say Salud, is that it's such a family business, and like in a family business, and I don't mean like, oh, you know, it's like the bodega, right?
Right.
But like it's treated like the bodega
For sure.
in the sense that like everybody has buy-in into the company and cares so deeply about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but I think that, let's go back to this real quick.
Okay.
So I think that you've created this, my dog. You and Tyler have created that, right? But I want to take an even step further.
Okay.
Let's not even like talk about Salud just yet. I actually want to talk about you, Josh, like as an individual who, you know, you talked about this, you really wanted to create videos on YouTube and like start this career and,
Yeah.
like in YouTube. And you were like a part of those like first influencers
For
that
sure.
would like go and make the videos and do the things and try your craft, and then
Yeah.
you building the audience,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Did you at that time though ever think that you would own a CPG brand
No.
at the end of the
Not
end of
at
it
all.
all?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. No, that wasn't necessarily. I started it because, look, I never, like, I didn't really, I had so many jobs like growing up, and nothing really like called me, you know? It wasn't until I started making videos, that was like the first thing that actually like drew me, where I felt like I was like, I understood passion. That was what I was like totally like immersed in. That was like everything for me. So having like a brand, I was like not something that I was like, that wasn't the end goal. The end goal was to build my own empire within myself, like my own brand, you know? So that, as my brand grew, I'll be honest, I want to say like between 2018 and 2019, I kind of got over social media, and I knew that I was like being called for something more. And then we always say this when we like talk to other like companies that we're going to be like working with at Salud, we say like the stars aligned between Tyler and I meeting, because it really is like everything just worked so beautifully that we got to like build and meet and have this incredible relationship.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's so interesting what you were talking about though, like from like the entrepreneur like life, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, so we were talking about this off camera, that even for me, I have multiple businesses.
Okay.
I've created 4 different businesses,
Yes.
which is like content,
Yeah.
events,
Yeah.
which is 2 different businesses. I have
Right.
media and I have event. I have Openly, the agency, and I'm also developing my CPG brand, right?
Wow.
And for me, like my drive in that is because I'm trying to create my own empire.
Yeah.
But like it all started from building the personal brand piece.
Right.
And being like so stoked about it, and
Yeah.
then seeing the community of it,
Yeah.
and then being like, okay, well, how can I monetize this? How can I make this even further? And then I've like been able to monetize it and like self-sustain myself, right?
Yeah.
But the reason I like went into a lot of that detail is because I like, for you, did you set out, like, what was your job actually one step back? What was your job before you became a YouTube influencer?
I was selling personal training.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at LA Fitness.
Okay.
Yeah, I uploaded my first YouTube video at LA Fitness.
Really?
Yeah, I had been under the wing of this other YouTuber that also the stars align. Like, God really has my back. Like, he really just looks out for me. I feel like he's had this like clear path for me, and I've just been following along. But I met this YouTuber who was a Latino creator as well. He goes by the name of Super Ego. He had this series called You Know You're Mexican If, and also this like series he developed called Cholo Adventures that was super influential in the Hispanic community. And I had watched him through college and stuff, and I met him, stars align. I met him, and he just took me under his wing and taught me the ropes of like what it is to like develop and create a YouTube video and build a following, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the guy. Where was I going with this?
Wait,
So I was working at LA Fitness. I had uploaded my YouTube video.
Yeah.
I uploaded the video, and within like 3 hours, the video had like 40,000 views.
That's nuts.
The first video I ever uploaded.
Bitch, I
This
get
is
like
2010.
200. I'm getting 200 right
No,
now.
I was super fortunate. Yeah. It's crazy, and yeah, it's only become more competitive. It's insane now.
I think me trying to do this stuff, like
Yeah.
on the content side, the algorithm is like really tough. Like
Yeah.
truthfully.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Like that's why I don't know. We can talk about that offline. But
Yeah.
like, it's just interesting. It was a different time in 2010. I mean, like look at the YouTube creators who are even bigger, right?
Right.
Like Mr. Beast. I forget what year he
For
started,
sure.
but like
and it wasn't
that's-
that long ago.
No.
Maybe it was like 8. Oh, he actually started a while ago. Actually,
Yeah,
but
when
it's
he was
probably
like
8 years ago.
16 or 17,
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
so at least 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah,
I worked for the dude and I like barely know anything. Whoops, sorry. But the point is though, is like, it was like you came up in like that time period where it was like just starting.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
And then you like press upload.
Yeah.
But like, what was the other motivation? Because then after that, like, okay, you're creating these videos, you're doing this stuff, you're creating your community.
Yeah.
But then like, even tell me about how you ended up in the Platica, because we haven't even touched that.
Oh, I know.
Number
When
one
I was
Latino
giving my
podcast,
pitch
bitch.
earlier, I was like, Sebas, my co-host, he's gonna be like, you ain't gonna mention us, though. You wearing the merch, ain't gonna even mention us, though. No, honestly, that was another huge moment in my life that really like changed everything. So my buddy Sebas that I've known for like 8 years, I met him because this other massive YouTuber named Alex Wasabi, he has this huge YouTube channel called Wasabi Productions, 10 million subscribers. His channel is massive. I met him through like the social media space, and we follow each other on Instagram and stuff 8 years ago, and he had posted himself with a fresh ass haircut. Like, it just looks so good. You know, it was like one of those, I just got a cut, I'm looking good. And so I asked him, I was like, bro, who cut your hair? Because he lived like down the street from me.
yeah.
And my co-host Sebas was actually his barber. He was a barber at the time. And so I hit him up, and immediately we just like meshed. And his girl is also like a really big beauty influencer. She goes by I Love Sarai, and she's massive in the beauty space, and she crushed it. So we ended up all becoming friends. And in 2019, Sebas actually launched La Platica before me. Like I wasn't a part of the show when he first started it. And then I was his second guest ever to come on. And I just immediately felt we've always had like a great dynamic, but our dynamic on camera was, I could just tell it was something special immediately. And that's different. Like, you can have a good relationship outside of camera because people on camera are a little different. Sometimes it's hard to be yourself in front of the camera.
Totally.
It's something you have to learn.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, you have
it's a skill.
You have to leave your body.
Yes, you do.
Pretend to be somebody else.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So I have so much grace when it comes to people who are new, when we ask them to be on the podcast and they've never done a podcast, because I remember that moment when I first stepped in and I was like doing the podcasting. And I even gave Marky a little rundown when he first came out. I was like, bro, the first 10, 15 minutes, you're going to be nervous. Just let it be. Just settle in. You're going to be fine. It's all going to work out, and you'll eventually find your groove. But anyways.
Wait, do you give him shots?
I was gonna say the tequila shots
help?
really. Oh my gosh, immensely
That probably does help. That probably does help.
Yeah.
Yeah. We give all our guests tequila shots. It's part of La Platica.
Okay, well, I'm coming on the Platica. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sebas. I'm telling you this now.
Yes. No, it's
and
going to
we're
happen.
going to drink tequila together.
Yeah.
And Mark is going to be there too.
It has
I want to be there. I want
Has
to
to
watch.
be.
I want to
Yeah.
see this.
Yeah. So I was on second guest on his show. He probably did about like 30 episodes before he actually asked me to be his official co-host. And I was in probably like 5 of those episodes. But that was from 2019 to 2022. So for that amount of time, he had only uploaded 30 episodes.
That's crazy.
So the podcast was existent, but it wasn't like as reoccurring as it is now. So I remember the day he called me, and this is literally about a week. No, I am so sorry. When I was his guest on the show, we were about to launch Salud.
Oh.
Yeah, so on La Platica was the first time I ever mentioned Salud publicly. I remember I called Tyler, it was like a week prior to us launching. And I was like, dude, my buddy who has a pretty large channel, he asked me to be a guest on his podcasts. And I think this would be like a great place for me to like talk about Salud, because I have a social media presence, but my presence was more in like short form content and comedy. Nobody really knew me at the time for just being like me. You know, I was kind of like always hiding behind like a character. So I was really excited to like be on the podcast and just be Josh, like just be myself and talk about this other venture that I'm now working on. And yeah, that was super cool. So like we brought it up and he was so like just receptive towards the brand. It was so excited for me and hyped me up like crazy. And he was a huge part of the launch of Salud. And we ended up selling out within like 3 hours, and our goal was to sell out with like 3 days with like the amount of inventory that we had. We didn't have like a ton, but it was like,
but yeah, you were testing the market.
We were testing out the market.
Yeah.
So this was even like a thing. And yeah, so that happened. So for a year I wasn't a part of the show. Then he one day asked me in 2022 if I would be the official co-host of La Platica.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, we gotta really do this if we're gonna do this. You know, like we gotta be on a consistent upload schedule. We gotta be better about our social media, because like he was doing it, but like he also needed the help. You know what I mean? He was doing it all by himself. And you see, like running a podcast, like there's just people behind the scenes that help make this happen.
Yeah. I mean, it is really hard. Like that's a really good point to bring up, right? So yes, my podcast is very much about like customer experience and marketing, right? And I really truly believe that for brands, content marketing is a big piece of that, right? But what I always find in any marketing team, whether it's on the media side or even on the brand side, it's very hard to maintain consistency.
Okay.
So consistency is always key in content marketing, right?
I hate that that's such a cliche like response. When people say like, what is like one advice? Consistency. And I know it sounds crazy, but nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
but like you have to be consistent, right? And you're absolutely right. It is a cliche thing to say, but it's true. If you want something so much, you have to be consistent and you have to have the drive to do it.
Even when the numbers aren't there, even when that outcome isn't showing up for you.
Dude, wake up every day. I mean, I do wake up almost every day and make content, right? Like every Sunday, I'm like shooting content for like my personal stuff, right? I mean, I've had fucking haters even. I've had haters that, you know, I'm really like putting myself out there, and truly for a woman and a man, like it's very hard.
I could see that.
Like,
I totally get that.
It's so interesting how like men are more received than women are, and like you have to like do a certain thing or look a certain way, and like, dog, I just want to come like right now. If you were tuning into this podcast, I'm literally wearing gym shorts, an LA Lakers like oversized tee with some really bright Adidas
First of all,
shoes.
the fit is fire. So I don't know what you're talking about right now.
You know, like
Absolutely.
little bright,
This is a
my
fit.
tattoos, my daddies are out.
This is a
you
whole
know,
aesthetic.
But my point is, though, it's really interesting, right? I feel like men can show up in content very however you want to be, but women, like, you have to be a certain, like, you have to have a certain look.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this, and I'll tell you this, if I have more makeup on or a low-cut shirt, I get more views on my stuff.
Wow.
And that's why I show up, though, just like the way I am, because I'm like, I'm going to fucking change that.
So when I first started uploading YouTube videos, I noticed that the thumbnails with me shirtless would get more views.
Yeah.
And I would utilize that as well.
I mean,
I would.
Maybe I need to just be like, hey.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like even in high school and stuff like that, I didn't have like the confidence that I do now. I was super insecure, and like when I first started putting myself out on social media, I was like, who's gonna want to watch me?
Yeah.
But I happened to have like a pretty good physique, still kind of do. But then it was like prime. It was like prime, and I know
you and Mo work out a lot, okay?
We get after it. I did one time. I just put like the video. I was shirtless and I just used it as like a thumbnail. And at the time I didn't even customize the thumbnail. It was like you couldn't even customize it on YouTube. It's like whatever was given to you, you just had to select the best one.
Yeah.
And the best one happened to be shirtless, and I just remembered like my views just like
skyrocketed, right? So I mean, listen, like anybody listening, and I don't want to get any heat about like men versus women, like blah,
no, and
blah,
I'm not trying to make it that, but like I get it. Like,
for sure.
I get it.
Like, but you bring up a really valid point, like about content too. It's like it's this like behavioral trigger for sexuality.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
And it got deep too, because I was insecure, and then I built this audience that people really started watching me. And then I started getting in my head about it because I would analyze what videos are doing better. And I'm like, wait, it's the ones that I'm shirtless. So are people watching me because they actually enjoy my comedy? Because remember, I wasn't doing like thirst traps. I was putting my heart and soul into writing these sketch comedies. And I thought they were hilarious. I thought they were so funny.
They were absolutely
really need
gold.
to go look this up.
Oh my gosh, I
really
highly
was
recommend.
I had writing sessions. I brought in comedians. I learned how to edit. Like I put everything into it, and it was just like people just wanted to watch me shirtless.
Yeah,
and
so
that got
dude,
me.
you know.
Yeah.
Mo, I'm not coming for your man. That's my brother. Yeah. Okay. Well, going back, right. So like, let's talk about content marketing real quick because I think it is such a big piece of Salud.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Like,
it's
bringing
huge.
that organic traffic to the brand.
Yes.
Like I think you guys are hitting like another a next level growth right now, and we'll get into that, but. So consistency, number one.
Yes.
Absolutely consistency. I don't want to steer the audience wrong. Like, please don't put your titties out there or like be shirtless. Okay. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
I don't want to like steer you wrong. You be consistent. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Okay.
Yeah. Just to add to the consistency point, I feel like sometimes people feel like they're being consistent and it's not enough. Like they're not achieving the goal. And sometimes it's about, you got to just like, you just need more output. So it's like I'm posting every day. Well, maybe you need to post twice a day.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Like the consistency maybe just needs to be a little bit more exaggerated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially you were talking about the algorithm. Everybody is posting now. Everybody's competing for attention. So like you really got to like double down.
Yeah.
You know, triple down.
I mean, yeah, like
consistently.
Instagram's like algorithm changes every day. TikTok changes every day. YouTube changes every. I actually get way more views on YouTube than I do on any channel.
You get more
on
views
the shorts?
on YouTube?
On my shorts.
On
yeah.
shorts.
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
Yeah, like
Then TikTok.
more TikTok, Instagram, all on YouTube, and also I will say LinkedIn. But listen, don't be a hating.
Yeah.
Okay, you know,
you popping on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
founder baby
Yeah.
over
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Okay, like
Yeah.
I love my LinkedIn channel. But okay, let's talk about this consistency real quick. So like you're right, it's about like how like understanding your analytics, the algorithm, all these things,
100%.
being consistent. So even taking a channel like LinkedIn, I challenged myself this year. This is why, even though people were making fun of me at my wedding, I don't know if you remember that speech from my friend.
Like being a LinkedIn influencer?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it. I get it.
that was pretty funny.
I know.
I love those speeches.
I know. But I challenged myself this year. I said, every day, Monday through Friday, I'm going to post on LinkedIn. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah.
Just literally want to see what happens. And there's been a couple of days that I might have missed here and there. I don't post on holidays because, like, I'm sorry, this is a workplace. I'm going to treat that place like a workplace, okay?
Yeah.
Like, Veterans Day, we off,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But I did find that like from starting out from day one, and that consistency has really like shot up my impressions and created a lot of inbound traffic for the agency. I've like that's how I organically grow my word of mouth, right?
Wow.
And I think the same principles can start, because this is exactly what we're talking about with Salud and your content, right? You are the content creator in the beginning, so like to be able to like build that content. Not even like forget the creator economy piece, just like being a fucking content creator and talking about your product and that consistency of it will organically help you grow is my point, right?
Yes.
But I didn't get to my second point about content though. And I think you're going to agree with this because you guys do this really well. Aesthetic.
Oh.
I think aesthetic really matters.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like, okay, I have to have like, because this is something I'm insane about. Like everything that I do, Above the Fold has a brand guideline.
Yeah.
So my newsletter has a brand guide. Like my agency, every brand thing that I have, even Jessica Servion.
Yeah.
Or Jess Servion, trademark that, has a brand guideline. Okay. But y'all like Salud. Also, everything that you put out is very hi-fi content.
Yes.
There's good lo-fi stuff. Like Marissa does a dope job on your TikTok, right?
Yes,
Like,
yeah, shout out Marissa.
Yeah, we're gonna shout out everybody on Salud now. Everybody's gonna have their individual moment. Andy is
Didn't
really
you guys
good.
do that on your guys'
Yeah,
social?
we
Yeah, we did. Yeah, one by one.
Sorry, we kind of all get together and we just talk about the family. But I think aesthetic really matters.
Yes, it does.
Aesthetic absolutely matters.
does.
And then the little details. The little details go a long way.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, just talk to me about like.
Yes, this is a really good conversation. I really want to attribute a lot of that to Tyler as well, because it was so important for him to have everything like dialed in the way you just said, to make the brand feel cohesive. Where I really was able to kind of add my value is I know how to create content, and I know about photography, stuff that I learned with being in like the arts of it. So being able to mesh our two like talents together, it would made for a perfect brand.
Yeah.
You know, like the way it's
Yeah.
executed, the way the brand is executed.
I agree, but I think it's actually really beautiful,
Yeah.
right? Because I see a lot of brands out there
that kind of miss that.
That they just miss it,
It's
dog.
it's and I hate to say this, but it's kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, great, I have this great product, but then you don't think about the marketing of it. You
Right.
don't think about the aesthetic
Yeah.
of it. And you're right, like Tyler, like shout out to Tyler seriously, because he is so particular about the details.
Absolutely.
But for good
Yeah.
reason. Like
Yeah,
there's
it has to be.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You should be so particular about those details,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And I think that's why you guys stand out on the shelf, like
Yeah.
in general, like even down to like the sugar skulls.
Absolutely.
And like the in common sleep, just for anybody watching, like if you pick up any of these, like there's different lines. There's hydration and immunity and energy and focus, and then common sleep. So on the logo, it's the sugar skull, and like that is very traditional Latino culture.
Yeah.
In the eyes on common sleep is moons, and then if you pick up hydration,
I love that you're
and
talking about
immunity,
this guy. I feel like this isn't talked about a lot.
It's
It's
just
like a
like
little
slept on.
Easter egg.
Yeah, yeah,
And when
and-
people catch it, they're like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Yeah, but it's the little details.
It's the
right?
little details, yeah.
Hydration and immunity have droplets of water, and
Yeah.
then energy and focus are bolts. So it's like
Lightning.
the lightning,
Yeah.
lightning.
No, yeah, lightning bolts. Yeah.
So, but that little detail is so important in branding.
100%.
It's not. I mean, we can talk about quality of grease. I think it's going to have to be on like the second
Yeah,
episode,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I think it's so important when you talk about branding and you talk about marketing.
Absolutely.
Real quick, because we don't have much time.
Yes. Sorry. Last thing I want to say, because I want to add to the whole eyes thing. There's a famous line, Scarface. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like my uncles, I know that movie's like terrible, but like my uncles, like that's like their favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
And there's a line in that movie that says, "The eyes, Chico, they never lie." And so that was kind of like the inspiration for like doing the
Yeah.
eyes, like just people being able to look at the eyes and
yeah.
knowing what they're getting.
Yeah.
Because they
Fuck
never
yeah.
lie.
I love
eyes
it.
never lie.
So I just really want to go back to your founder journey and spend like a few minutes on that.
Yeah.
So, okay, La Platica,
Yeah.
Salud, then, right? Like for you, and this might have to be on like episode 2, but for you, right? Like just being Latino and like creating your audience, creating like your podcast, like that's and then creating this brand that's also like very like deeply rooted in Latino culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I really want you to talk about is just being brown and being a founder
Yeah.
and like putting something on the market that's
Yeah.
not the same shit as everything else. Dog.
Correct. Yes.
You
yes.
know?
Yeah.
Like tell me how proud you are in that.
I'm so proud, and the whole Spider-Man line, with great power comes great responsibility. I knew I wanted to create a product that really like highlighted Latinos and really like brought a product into the market that really represented us and represented us like beautifully. And I'm so grateful that I'm doing it. But it comes with a lot. Like people really are so proud, and they're like proud of me and like what we're doing, the movement that we've like caused. And yeah, I just feel sometimes I feel like so overwhelmed. Sometimes it just feels like it's just a lot to handle, you know, but I'm so grateful for it. And I think it's so cool to like, to be putting Latinos on the map in the way that we are, you know what I mean? And it's so cool. Like, look, we didn't create this space. The hydration space has been around forever, since like Gatorade, right? But we added like our own twist, and a part of the twist was like really highlighting Latino flavors. And I'll remember there was an email that we got from, should I say who it was from? It was a large retailer, right? And I always thought it was so interesting because they were like reaching out to us to have a meeting with us, and with the compliment that they paid us was like, "We love what you guys are doing with the brand. It's so innovative." And I get it. Like we are innovative, right? Like we took this hydration and we made it cool. We added like our own spin to it, but we didn't like invent it. But I just think because I showed that Latinos also are like consumers and they want to buy products, and there's just no products that really kind of speak to them sometimes. That is so innovative. Like it was like groundbreaking. And I was just like, well, no, I mean, we just needed a voice, and now we're here to show out, and we're gonna show you that we're here to like represent us.
Yeah. Well, I think what's really cool in like the market too, like earlier today, don't judge me for this, but I went to Erewhon and I love Erewhon.
Did you get the Hailey Bieber smoothie? Because it's delicious.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't care how much sugar it has.
I don't
Somebody
care.
tried to tell me how much sugar it has. I was like, I don't care.
Me and Keaton just split it because I was like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I can't even finish the whole thing. Truthfully.
No, I finished the whole thing.
I can't.
I'm
You're a big guy, okay? But I was like looking through the sodas,
Okay.
right? And like sodas is like an overly saturated category, right?
Yeah.
And what caught my eye though was a brand called, I think it's like Tapachi, but their take is a modernized Mexican soda.
Ooh.
And I was like, fuck yeah, man.
In what sense? Like what?
Like just taking like just taking like just like I don't really know all the flavors, but like some of them were like cactus and like some other like really traditional other types of flavors, not in agua frescas.
Got it.
Right. But I thought that was really interesting,
cool.
is my point, right? Because it's like, yes, you have the Olipop, yes, you have the Poppy, yes, you have all these other sodas, right? But you never have really anybody taking on like the Latin flavors,
right?
You know,
right?
And like, and granted, that's in soda, and like you guys are taking on like the hydration pieces of it, but the other side that I also was seeing, like just kind of into the store walk, is just like there's just more like other brands that are coming out with like different flavor profiles, like churro and like in chips, and but they're Latin owned brands, right? Yeah. I know like Siete's been out there, but then they got acquired,
Dude,
right? Which is dope.
1.2 billion.
I mean,
Insane.
fuck yeah,
yeah.
Like let's go,
dude. That got me so amped when I read that. I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
I mean, it couldn't happen for you, dog.
Yeah, it could, but I'm honestly not even like, I'm not even worried about that.
I know.
Like, if it happens, I'm having so much fun and like putting on for us and building the brand. Like this is like a new adventure for me that it's just been so awesome to like be a part of.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I get that question all the time. They're like, you gonna sell? And I'm like,
I mean, everybody does that. That's always the plan, though. Everybody wants to exit, right?
Yeah.
And I think eventually, like, maybe you do. Just don't sell out, my guy.
No.
I can't see it anytime soon. Josh absolutely loves Salud. He loves talking about it. You know, our whole family's like so proud of him and what he's created, and I couldn't see him letting that go anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Man, I think that's gonna have to be episode 2 because I really wanted to talk about the like just family pride too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 'cause your mom
Yeah.
is also an angel on this earth.
She
So
loves
shout out
you.
to you, Marie.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because like I mentioned earlier, I am first generation, you know, and I've been in this like weird like bubble where like I'm not Mexican enough for the Mexicans, and I'm not white enough for the Americans. It's like this weird thing. So like when I came out with this brand, I had a little bit of like imposter syndrome where I'm like, are people gonna like, I don't know, like how are they gonna like take this, you know?
Yeah.
But I know that this means everything to me. Like putting on for my culture means everything to me.
Yeah.
I could literally like listen to a mariachi play and I cry because I feel the passion of like what it represents and like the words that the mariachi are singing, you know what I mean? So I have so much pride in this, and the fact that I can create this as a reflection of that is super cool.
Yeah.
And I know my family feels that and people feel that, and I think that's why it's worked. So
damn, that honestly gave me chills because I think about that too. Like I'm mixed.
Yeah.
Like I'm half Russian Jew, and then I'm half Salvadorian. Like literally 50-50. You all met my dad.
Yeah.
And that's actually my stepdad. Okay. You know what I mean? But you know, even for my brand that I'm building, and it's going to be in the sleep space, and we'll talk more about it like another time.
In the
sleep space.
Oh, cool.
Don't worry, I'm not taking on y'all.
You better not.
I know,
Yeah, we're watching you.
But the one core thing for me is like I'm in kind of like research and development and ingredients, and I'm working with like a 4th generation herbalist. And the reason I specifically chose that.
What does that mean? Generation herbalist?
She's just like in her family, like she's the 4th generation, like that studied like herbalism.
Wow.
But the herbalism piece is so important to me because like in our culture, right? Like just like Aztec culture as a whole, right? Like it's all about like being just, you know, earthly types of flavorings, but also like herbs and like healing from like natural types of.
That's
right?
definitely
That's like,
definitely a huge aspect for
right.
sure. Yes.
But that's so important to me to grow that into mine. You know what I mean? Like, and mine's gonna be liquid, so don't worry.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you say that because for me, it's kind of like the opposite. Like as Latinos, especially like here in the U.S., like they consume the calorie intake, the sugar intake that people are just taking in because they're uneducated when it comes to nutrition was something that I was aware of, and that was another reason why I wanted to create agua frescas and I wanted to make them healthy. It was like because I obviously love drinking agua frescas, but they're loaded with sugar. I know I was making the joke earlier about not caring, but I do care, you know? And so it's funny because like for me it was like the opposite, where people are like Latinos like sugar and grease, and that's just how we live our lives. What's a huge part of our culture.
I mean, I agree. I think that's the American version of it, though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I also
you could be absolutely right.
I think it's also a little debatable. I think like every time you go to a different country, it's completely different.
For
like
sure.
We've traveled to Mexico like individually, but like numerous times, right? Ingredients are just so different. Like requirements of food are just so different. The same thing if you were to go to France or Italy or these other places. Like the requirements of food are so different. And in America, it's like we can take the same types of products that we're so used to from like our home countries or countries that we visit, and then we like pour in all this bad stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So All right, audience, I'm so sorry, but my boys got to go because they got a party.
We got a party to go to.
But before we go,
come on.
I'm going to test you because Marky Mark's here, my head of CX, okay?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
And you, being co-founder of Salud, I feel like you need to answer some of these questions
I'm
sometimes.
ready. Come on.
So
put me in the trenches, coach. I'm in it.
Tagging you in. Mark.
Yeah.
I had Mark pull up some tickets from CX.
Okay, so let me take off my founder hat and put on my customer experience hat.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Big shout out to Priscilla and Elizabeth on the customer experience team because they deal with this every single day. Daily basis. Like, I'm going to give you 2 questions. That's it. They got to go through 100 of these a day.
You're scaring me.
This is actually a really funny one we got. So we had a customer write in, and this is word for word. It's going to sound ridiculous. This is an actual customer.
And these are real.
These are real. These are our customers, not like an example. These are our customers.
Taste Salud customers?
Taste Salud customers.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said they're not Prime customers?
Hell no. All right. So starts off. So hello, need to return the package as this was for a wife or soon to be ex-wife. The order number is blank. What do I need to do? Question mark.
Wow. Okay. So they bought it for their wife at the time.
Yeah.
But now that wife
is soon to be ex-wife.
Soon to be an ex-wife.
Yeah. How would you respond to that? What's the first thing you're gonna say?
I'm really sorry about your whole situation, man. I hope you figure that out with your wife and the ex-wife thing, and that unfortunate. I'm gonna pray for you, bro. Listen, we're gonna get your order taken care of. Matter of fact, the order's on us. Give it to your next wife, and you'll be good, bro. You know what I mean? And everything's gonna be taken care of. You have other shit to worry about, my boy. Go handle that. We'll take care of your order.
Wow, I couldn't have thought of a better response.
So
yeah,
good.
that was great. Yeah, absolutely.
Priscilla,
I can do it too, bro.
Priscilla Elizabeth, you gotta learn.
Okay.
Why did I hire you, bro?
I know. Yeah. You could have been doing this, bro.
CX now. I know. Okay.
I like where he's like, keep it, give it to your next wife. Yeah. I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
He's marketing.
How did you
Word
handle
of
that?
mouth referral.
We had to be like pretty professional. We just let them know, hey, we're so sorry for the situation. We're going to go ahead and refund your order as soon as possible. Have a good one. Thanks.
I would have said that to you. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that works. Something along that line.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and
it's so funny how people just be sharing information like
Well,
that.
I'm just really curious
let's
what
be real here.
propelled
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
What compelled you to write in?
Yeah.
But
He could have
okay,
just
you
said, I
really
got to
needed
return the
us
order.
To hold your hand, my
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Just casually link a betterhelp.com. And also,
It's a voice
check out this
lawyer.
site.
Yeah. No, we get that quite a bit. Like, we get a lot of people that'll tell us very personal stuff or stuff they're going through. We're like, sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Do you want to come and sleep?
Yeah, I know, something like that. So,
I really like this segment, by the way.
It's a good one.
This
Yeah.
is cool. I feel like we should do this on La Platica.
You should.
This
Yeah.
This is
still
the
your
segment.
idea.
No, I'm coming on. All right. I love you guys so much. Josh, Mark, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Jess. It's so much fun. We definitely got to do a part 2. I'm absolutely proud of you. I'm so excited that you finally asked me to be a part of the show.
Well, now we got to do a part 2,
We're gonna
dog.
do a part
LA
2.
traffic ruined our life.
I know. I'm so sorry. And we're definitely going to bring you on La Platica because I said this off camera, but I want to talk to you about what it's like being in the D2C space and what advice you can give influencers. Because like I said, I didn't have that. I literally had Tyler, and even Tyler was figuring out he's never had a company before. So we had to learn. And, I wish we would have had a Jess.
Yeah.
So
well, you did have.
We did have a Jess. Yeah.
Right.
But at the
2023.
beginning.
Correct. But maybe for the people that don't have a Jess, I want to give them access to a Jess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, we had Mark Cuban on our podcast.
I know. I didn't even get to get that. You guys got to tune into episode 2.
Yeah.
Because my boy here had motherfucking Mark Cuban on his podcast.
That was crazy.
Yep.
And they homies now.
No, I got his phone number.
Yeah.
I want somebody to come up to me on the streets. People do those TikToks who's the most famous person you have on your contact.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna kind of play it down. I don't know. Mark Cuban.
Mark C. Mark C. Yeah.
Mark C, you know this guy?
But he dropped a little tidbit where he was like, I don't remember the exact number, but he was like 83% of new businesses in 2024 were started by Latinos. Mm-hmm. So we're making noise out here, and there's a lot of things people can learn. So this is why I want to bring you on so you can kind of speak on that and maybe point people in the right direction.
And so we can all support each other too.
Exactly.
Man.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Well, for the audience and anybody listening in and watching, I will be sure to put all of Josh's contact information, not his personal phone number. Mo will kill me on that one.
She will. She's gonna be pissed.
But I will link to his websites and also, and Marky Mark, you follow my boy on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is my second episode with you.
We're going to have to do a third. We got to get Tyler in next.
Yeah,
I know.
You
Yeah,
know?
we do. Yeah.
But dudes, I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. We love you, Jess.
And everybody tuning in, see you guys next week.
Dang, we've made it to the end of the podcast and you're still here. So thank you so much for listening to Above the Fold podcast. For the best of this episode and every episode, be sure to follow us on Instagram and my YouTube channel. And for deeper dives on the secrets to brand success, don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, Sunday Postcards. All right, my dudes and gals, see you next week.